What?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No. Hi guys! Today we are together to answer some viewer-submitted questions specifically about what you should know before you come to St. Croix, a list of pros and cons if you will. If you desire a deeper resource, definitely check out my ebook, and that's going to be linked below.
A lot of people ask us about home ownership down here. Owning a home down here can be a little bit more tricky. You've got a lot more maintenance costs. Everything is just harder to do. And the one biggest problem for me is hurricane insurance. I've often felt like if you're gonna buy a house down here, you really gotta consider that. Your equity can just be eaten up by $7,000 a year hurricane insurance. You can have super long closing times. It's a volatile housing market, so you're not guaranteed to gain equity over time. When you think about homeownership in the U.S. Virgin Islands, you really got to take into a lot of other considerations that you might not consider in the U.S.
We lack a lot of the modern stateside conveniences. We don't have Uber. Free shipping is very far and few between. We don't have any like big box stores. I love this quote from my girlfriend. She said that doesn't matter who you are, you're shopping at Kmart just like everybody else here, and there isn't a great selection and the prices can tend to be very high, and that's pretty much it. We don't even have a mall. The one mall we did have, kind of a semblance of a mall that we did have, was destroyed in Maria, and it's still under construction. And we just don't have next day delivery. That's not even a thing here. Everything has to be brought in on the island, so it is a little bit more difficult.
One of the other things to consider down here is the electrical service. We do not have a stable grid down here. You can lose power at any time for no reason. Just the other night we were out of power for about 8 hours. And then on top of that, we have the highest electrical rates of any U.S. territory. So that is a pretty large downside about living here, but it's also something you get used to in the long run.
If you're coming to visit for a vacation, you may want to look into something that has solar power or has a backup generator. So that's something to consider if you're coming here for fun time or for leisure. We do have USPS, UPS, and DHL, as well as freight forwarders, but free shipping is nearly obsolete, and most companies do consider us an international territory.
Basically, only the U.S. Postal Service will ship to us with domestic rates. Using any other third-party company, like she mentioned, DHL, FedEx, UPS also comes here, but they all charge international rates.
If you've been following me for a while, you will know that Maria was one of the top 5 life-defining moments of my entire short 35 years.
After Hurricane Maria, this was the reality just a few days ago. Thank you for being here with me.
And it's something that you definitely have to consider, as we are prone to, we had 2 back-to-back Category 5 hurricanes, and it was pretty devastating. We didn't have power, particularly where we lived, for about a year. That means no running water, no toilets, no electricity, no internet, no phone service, pretty much everything. No fridge, no refrigeration. We do have minor earthquakes here and there as well.
There is a transient population here. A lot of people come and go. There's seasonal people. Some people move here and don't even make it 2 weeks because island life is not for everybody. You guys get to see a lot of our highlight reels, the beautiful stuff. What you don't see is a lot of the behind the scenes thing. For like every beautiful moment you see on camera, there's an equally frustrating moment behind the camera.
And kind of tying into an earlier point, another reason it's transient is because we are a seasonal offering here, and it's very expensive. So myself included, and almost everyone I know, we all juggle 5 or 6 jobs at the minimum. You'll hear the expression island time, and we definitely have a slower tempo here. And if you're not accustomed to it, it can be a bit excruciating. To give you a small example, it took over a year when we first got here to obtain our business licenses. And sometimes things that will take 1 day delivery in the States will take over a month.
You're in the tropics, so there are bugs and insects and all sorts of creepy crawlies. Just look up giant Peruvian centipede. And then there are scorpions on the island, though not very common.
For things such as mosquitoes, some of the lighter insects, I do have a very effective DIY bug spray that I'll link below as well.
Things on island can be about 20% more than they are on the mainland, and that includes groceries and everything. We don't have a sales tax, which means the price on the box is actually what you pay, which is nice, but it doesn't mean we don't pay taxes. It's pre-worked into the price with what they call a gross receipts tax. One way to combat the high prices here is just adapt. People come here and they try and live exactly like they did in the States, and they're the ones that crash and burn. You'll find things like, yeah, you can't get the exact same thing you used to like in the States. It costs twice as much, but hey, they've got a great alternative here that's local. And it's half the price of what you would even pay for in the States. So, yes, things can be more expensive, but there are ways to live not that way. You just have to be adaptable. You can't expect to move down here and live the same way you lived in the States.
How much is gas currently?
Gas right now is about $2.69 a gallon.
For a reference point, our first rental when we came to Island over 5 years ago was a tiny little place, not even 400 square feet, and it was $800 all inclusive, but last we heard it was over $1,300.
A lot of new people come in, they have these per diem contracts, and it just shot rental prices through the roof. It's also a hangover effect from Maria with the FEMA workers who had the same type thing, a per diem contract. And it's been a really big problem on the island post-Maria.
Rental crisis. We can't personally attest to this, but we have a lot of friends that with schooling, public schooling, they give us a mixed bag, so they'll choose to personally homeschool. And I hear that private school can cost upwards of like 15 grand or something like that.
It's really difficult to get medical insurance on the island. They don't sell individual healthcare plans. The only way to get medical insurance here is to go through your employer. So it's just something to consider that you won't be able to come down here and purchase your own insurance. The medical facilities on the island is also a concern. A lot of people go stateside to get their medical concerns taken care of. Myself personally, I pay for a policy that in case of an emergency, it will fly me to Miami.
As a matter of fact, most of our friends have left because of medical concerns that they couldn't address here on island.
Road conditions. The roads here can be rough. Tons of potholes. They can really mess up your truck. Another thing here, just like the homes, you have to budget more money for maintenance. You're gonna have car issues. If you can work on cars, I was okay with cars before I moved here. I'm almost a mechanic now.
Yeah, you are.
It's something that once again, you're gonna have to budget into. You're gonna have more car issues. The roads, you get used to them, but they're nothing like the States.
On to the positives, which I promise outweigh the negatives, which is what has kept us here for 5 years. And for me personally, number one on that list is a much more natural state of living. We were sick of being on the hamster wheel and living in the concrete jungle, and here it's pretty much 85 degrees all year round. If you've had a really crappy day, it's okay, you can go see a beautiful sweeping vista or go plunge yourself in a beautiful clear crystalline water and heal and just relax and connect to nature and ground and earth. And for me that was a big deal because I personally have struggled with seasonal depression among a slew of other things, and living here just alone being in touch with nature, having all the windows open, has really helped lift my spirit, and I now see the divine in so much, and it's really just radically changed my way of living and viewing life.
So obviously, the number one for a lot of people is going to be the beaches, and they're not wrong. The beaches here are amazing. We have several highly rated beaches. There's Turtle Beach in Buck Island, which is a small key just off the coast that was rated one of the top beaches in the world by National Geographic. We have Sandy Point National Refuge Park, which is a beautiful, beautiful beach. You might know it from the end of Shawshank Redemption, where Andy finally escapes to Mexico, but it was filmed right here in St. Croix. Also one of the biggest turtle nesting areas in the world for the leatherback turtle. You can go anywhere on this island for a beach. You're never more than 15 minutes away, and there's a million different types of beaches between rocky or beautiful white sand or fishing or swimming, anything.
Yeah, and speaking of, it facilitates our main staple in our diet, which is lionfish. It's an invasive species of fish that is decimating our coral, and Jay is a huge avid diver with the core team here, and it's now a part of, I guess, my first point, which is the natural living part, and it's our main staple in our diet, along with fruits. I can harvest something any time of the year. Something's always in season. January isn't even our most fruitful month, but I was still able to make an Aki stir fry and some Suriname juice. We're growing some aloe for our smoothies. I harvested some citrus. This is our last clutch of coconuts out of 6. And then, of course, an abundance of passion fruit, which I find flushes pretty regularly throughout the year. It's abundant, it's juicy, it's organic, it's grown right here, VI Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hashtag that says VI strong or VI nice, and it lends credence to the collective love and resilience of our island that was so apparent after Maria. Island family is definitely very visceral and very tangible here and strong, and it's something that's really nice about living on a small intimate island like this. I think you can drive the whole island in like an
About 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, one of my favorite things here is just the history, the culture, and the food. We find things called chaney, which are old broken pieces of china from the colonial days.
Here are a few pieces of our Cheney collection over the years that Jay found diving mostly, and it's a derivative of the word china and money, as it's broken pieces of ceramic pottery, and children used to play with them as play currency.
There's sugar mills and ruins all over the island. There's been so many cultures here throughout the history of the island that it's just a beautiful mixture of everything. We have everything from Indian food to Trinidadian food to you name it, and it comes through here. It's been here at some point. You can find so many beautiful fusion type things that you can't find anywhere else in the world. And it's one of my favorite things that makes this place home for me, is you can just feel the love, the culture, and the history coursing through the veins of this island. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Nope. It truly is such a rich, deep tapestry here that has just kept us here because our hearts belong in the VI. And today's a random Saturday. We're going to take you guys along with us on a hike, and I'll just kind of insert clips here and there just to show off. I love showcasing the beauty of this island. It really has our hearts. And if you're looking for a deeper resource, definitely check out my ebook for insider tips, some in-depth knowledge, things that I haven't shared. And you can find me every day on Instagram at A Squishy Monster as well.